Hello, my name's Roger and I'm from Paynes Bee Farm, and in this video I'm going to show you what to do with your 6-frame nuke once you've collected it from us. Now, unfortunately I'm doing this video in the winter and it's far too cold and actually wet outside to be doing the actual transfer, hence why I'm in here and I'm going to show you using some old frames instead without any bees. But this should give you the idea of what you should be doing in what order. So your bees are going to arrive in a box similar to this. They're going to come in a travel screen that's been taped down and they'll be nice and secure from your car journey. When you come to pick them up, there'll be 2 handles on the side of the box. Make sure that you lift them using the handles. Don't try and lift it using just the lid, just in case. The most important factor with bees and transporting bees is heat. They can very easily overheat in the back of a car. So make sure that wherever you put them, you're not blocking the vent on the top. So they can either go in the back of the car, in the boot, or on the back seat. This does mean that when you turn up to collect them, make sure you don't have too much in the back of the car. Make sure you give yourself plenty of space. The other thing you can do, if it's a hot day, is come along with either a bottle of water or a little hand spray of water. That way, on the car journey, if they look like they're getting a bit hot, you can just give them a spray of water and that helps them able to regulate their temperature and cool them down. You'll also want to bring your bee suit with you. You don't necessarily have to have it on and you shouldn't need it, but it's best to have it there just in case there's a problem. While you're travelling with the bees, also try and limit the number of stops you have to make before you get back. You don't want to keep them closed up for too long, and getting them back to location as quickly as possible should be priority. So don't stop on the way back and do some shopping. Literally just get back as soon as you can. Once you get your bees back to the location where you want to keep them, you'll want to put the nuke box on the stand itself. If you've got your hive there already, you'll just need to move that to one side so the box of bees can go on there instead. And what you want to do is to get the entrance on the nuke box to be as close to where the entrance on your actual hive is going to be. Once it's on the stand, the next step is you'll want to cover over the mesh. This is just in case it happens to rain between now and when you do the actual transfer. The easiest method for that is to use the actual hive roof and just balance or rest that over the polynuke. It doesn't have to be perfect. All you're doing is just stopping the bees from being washed out if it happens to rain. The next step you've got to do is to actually open the nuke up. On the front there's a disc entrance and you just turn that to the fully open position. Now this is a very quick job, but you'll want to be fully suited up because after the car journey the bees might be quite keen and eager to get out. You'll also want to do this as soon as possible, as soon as you put the nuke box on the hive stand. Don't worry, the bees won't abscond and fly off completely, but it will allow them to gather food and water and to help ventilate themselves by opening up that entrance. So do that as soon as you get them back into location. Once you've got the entrance open and the mesh covered, you can then let the bees settle down from their car journey, and we recommend leaving them at least half an hour, but they'll be fine in this box until the following day, or even a few days if you'd like to leave it that long. So this is a great opportunity to go grab a cup of coffee and then we'll come back to them later on and do the actual transfer itself. Okay, and now we're back. So we've let them settle down now until the following morning. And now this is where the actual transfer itself happens. So what we want to do now is move the actual box of bees off the stand so that we can put the proper hive in its place. Now, in this instance, we're going to use our poly hive, but it can be a wooden national, it can be WBC, it can be whatever hive you happen to have. Then, on the actual box of bees, you'll want to remove any sellotape that happens to be around the lid, and with your smoker lit just in case, you'll want to remove the travel screen. This will then reveal 6 frames in the box ready to be transferred into the proper hive. Now the queen will be in this box and she'll be running around loose. The chances are that she'll be on the actual frames themselves amongst the brood and the majority of the bees. However, you will need to double check the lid and make sure that you're not seeing the queen. She will be marked with a dot of the relevant colour, but do keep an eye out as you go through. So next step will be to prise the frames out and transfer them into the hive. So, starting with a frame on the edge of the box, you tend to find that it'll be easier to get out and they'll have less bees on there, so less chance of you crushing any bees. You'll want to use your hive tool and prise the frames out and transfer them into your proper hive. And you'll want to put them into the hive the same order that they appear in your box. So what you should find is that there'll be honey on the outer frames and the brood and the eggs will be on the inner frames. As you transfer them, the majority of the bees will be on the frames themselves. Feel free to have a look, and as I say, if you see the queen, that's great, because you know then that she's going safely into your hive. If you don't see her, don't worry. Probably only around 50% of people see the queen as they're transferring the frames from the nuke box to the hive. However, if you don't see her, all it means is that you need to be extra careful when you come to the end to make sure that the queen isn't one of the bees that's in the bottom of the box. Now, if there are any bees in the box, you can either turn the box upside down and bang the bees out, or you can leave the box out the front of the hive and any remaining bees will pick up the scent of the colony and make their way into the new location. The next step you need to do is fill out the rest of the brood box with some nice new frames. So, national hives take 11 frames, so you'll be wanting to put 3 frames on one side and 2 frames on the other side. That way you're keeping the bees all grouped in the middle and they've got work to do on the outside, which they will expand up over the next few weeks. The next stage is to put the crown board on top of the hive. So the crown boards will vary, and in this case we've got one of our poly crown boards, and this can fit straight on top of the hive. But you might have a crown board that looks like a wooden one. Doesn't matter, they both do the same job. And you'll be wanting to feed the hive. So in this case, we've got a little rapid feeder, a universal feeder, which will fit the majority of hives out there. And you'll want to put that so that the whole of the feeder is over the hole in the crown board. Top them up with sugar syrup, and you'll want to feed the bees until they've finished drawing out those other 5 frames that you've put in the brood box. Now this can be done in a week, sometimes it can take 3 or 4 weeks. It all depends on the weather, the season, the location, and the bees themselves. So keep an eye on it and you'll soon gauge how quickly they are expanding. Now with these feeders, to make sure the lid fits squarely on the top, you'll need to use a super. So just take one of your supers, take all the frames out, and this can sit on the top. You will then find that your roof will sit squarely on the top and keep everything nice and sealed and tight. Alternatively, you may also have one of the full-size feeders that are available, and if you've got one of these, you can put it straight on top of the frames without the need of a crown board. These are great because it gives you a higher capacity feed. So next step, put the lid on the hive, make sure it's all nice and secure, and then you can leave that colony alone now and just do your normal weekly inspections on it. The only thing you'll need to do is keep an eye on the feed, because again, depending on season, location and bees themselves, they might get through that feed very quickly, and you'll want to make sure they've got something to take until they've finished drawing out those brood frames. Again, don't go through the hive daily, but check the feed daily if you can, until you can gauge how quickly they're taking it down. We hope you have fun with bees. However, if you have any questions at any time, just drop us an email and we can help you out. We're more than happy to talk bees at any time, and we are here to help you with your bees.